wrap-up video. I have read all of the books on my TBR and then some, and so I am just going to do my wrap-up now because why not? So I'm going to start with my 5-star reads. I'm going to start with this one. I read The Wilder Life because it was one of the options from my Jenga TBR game. This book has been with me for like almost a decade, left unread on my shelf. I finally read it and it is a 5-star read from me. I absolutely adored it. I will be keeping this one and not unhauling it. You can read my in-depth reviews on Instagram and Goodreads. For the purposes of this video, I will just give it 3 descriptors. Those 3 descriptors are researched, balanced, and emotional. Really wonderful read. Highly recommend The Wilder Life by Wendy McClure. My next 5-star read, I actually finished this right before January started, but it's still from my January TBR, so I'm gonna count it. And that is Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man by Emmanuel Acho. Not sure how to say his last name. I gave this one 5 stars. It was my first read of the year, my first 5-star read of the year as well. This book is phenomenal. The descriptors I'm giving to this 5-star read are approachable, unapologetic, and hopeful. Highly recommend. My last 5-star read of the month, I just finished it. Oh my goodness. I read this one which also, this one too. I read both of these for the Read Harder Challenge, and they both fulfilled 2 different categories for the Read Harder Challenge. It's significant to note that this one, how gorgeous, this one I read for the Intimidating Read category. I have been wanting to read this book since 2013 when it won the Man Booker, and I have also simultaneously avoided it like the plague, and I figured, why not now? I should have read it in 2013. This is an amazing story. I absolutely adored it. My descriptors for this book are epic, mysterious, Dickensian. Absolutely loved this. Wish I would have read it sooner. So glad I read it now. Highly recommend it. So many people tell me, that's on my TBR too. Pick it up. Start to read it. It's so good. That's it. I had 3 5-star reads. Now for my 4-star reads. I have significantly more 4-star reads. Bellevue Square by Michael Redhill. I gave this book 4 stars. My descriptors for it are psychological, wild ride, and question everything. This was my doppelganger book. So this is a fairly recent edition, and I got it because it was a doppelganger book, and wow, is it a doppelganger book. If you want to know everything, again, please, Goodreads, Instagram, you can get all of the details, but this book is weird. It is very weird, and you're gonna want to talk about it with somebody. Like, you're gonna want a friend. This is Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. This is a YA thriller. The descriptors that I've given this 4-star read were lyrical, surprising, and satisfying. My next 4-star read is The Song of Achilles. This was a reread for me, and I needed to reread it because I was reading it with my in real life book group. This was the choice for the month. And so I reread this one and gave it 4 stars. I do think it's a 5-star story. I do think the writing is 5-star, but all of the weird innuendo just got way over the top and way too frequent, and so I did dock it a star for that. I found this book, the descriptors for this book, to be eloquent, heartbreaking, and literary genius. So in my second read of this book, I was able to see some of the things that she's doing with language and with imagery, the ways that she's drawing you from the end back to the beginning, the way that she's giving you precursors to the end all the way through the book. It's just really, really, really carefully done. The last time I remember reading a book that is this so carefully structured is an F. Scott Fitzgerald, is The Great Gatsby. Now, it is not as carefully structured as The Great Gatsby, but it was reminiscent to me of that. So Phenomenal book. If you've never read it, you need to pick it up and read it. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you think about Greek mythology. Pick it up, read the book. You are going to love it. I read this 4-star collection of poetry. Initially, I gave it 5 stars, but before making this video, I decided, you know what, this didn't stick with me the way that I thought it was going to stick with me. And so I did dock it a star, lowered it just down to 4, and that's okay. The 4 descriptors that I give for this collection of poetry are inspiring, moving, and provoking. These are all poems about climbing, metaphorically and physically. And I did, again, I thought this was going to stick with me much stronger and longer than it did. As I was reading it, it really resonated with me a lot. And as soon as I put it away, it went silent. I almost forgot that I had read it this month. So yeah, I do think that it's really quality work, but it's not memorable work. My last 4-star read for the month is Charles Dickens's Oliver Twist. This would have been a 5-star read for me, except that he ruins so much with that last line that just is so condemning of the female in this book. I don't want to ruin it for anybody. I mean, who doesn't know the basic story of Oliver Twist, but to think more deeply and to be more intimate with the book, he lays the blame for all of these happenings with one sentence at the feet of Oliver Twist's mother, who dies in childbirth. And it just undoes, it diminishes, it doesn't undo, it diminishes so much of the good that happens in this book. But the 3 words that I use to describe this one are heartbreaking, hilarious, and problematic. If you want to know what I mean by problematic, again, Goodreads, Instagram, it's all there for you. I did put this, I do have a list of worst last lines ever. Last lines, so much more than first lines, make or break a book, in my opinion. And this last line, really, really, really unfortunate. But the writing and the storytelling, the overarching message, minus the problematic, is so impactful that it still gets 4 stars from me. Before I dive into my 3-star reads, I would like to start here with Anna Karenina. I have read half of Anna Karenina. I still have this half to go. That was intentional. I'm doing this as a group read on Instagram, and we were only to read the first half of it in January, and we are reading the second half of it in February. So I will finish it then. But I do feel like I've read a huge amount of Anna Karenina. I have, in fact, read 435 pages. That's like a book in and of itself. And so at this point, if I were to star rate it, and this is a reread, this is my second read, but it feels a little bit like a first read because when I first read it, I was about 2 decades younger. So I'm reading it very differently, and I'm seeing it very differently this time. And the 3 descriptors that I give it are drama, inauthentic, and soap opera. So I will be providing more insight into why I feel that way at this point when I have finished the book. I don't know how I will feel when I finish it. I will give it 3 more descriptors when I am done, but that's where I'm at halfway through the book. And if I were to give it stars right now, today, and then put it away, I would give it 3 stars. You'll see this again next month though. 3-star reads for January. Now, my new rule here is that if it is a 5 or 4-star, if it's a 5-star, I keep it. Automatically, it goes right back on my shelf. If it is a 3 or a 4-star, I need to discern and decide, am I going to keep it or not? I happen to be keeping all of the 4-star reads that I just mentioned. Some of these 3-star reads I will be unhauling this month. So let's go ahead and dive into that. Anything less than 3 stars is an automatic unhaul, and you'll hear about those soon enough. So we have A Woman's Walks. I gave this 3 stars, and my descriptors are funny, time travel, and descriptive. This is a keeper. I'm not getting rid of this. I will use it as reference for a writing project that I'm doing. I will also just really enjoy reading some of the ways in which this author provides her perspective on being a woman traveler in Europe in the 1900s. There are some things that are so applicable to our lives today that you would never have guessed. It was a delight. It was a delight to read. So I will be keeping this one, even though I do think the writing is only 3 stars. The next book that I have is a book I'll put a picture of right here, because it is an audiobook that I listened to from my library, and that is Life After Life by Amy Bruni. Amy Bruni is a ghost hunter, and she has a television program called Kindred Spirits, where she looks for ghosts and helps them out. And I don't know how you feel about that, but I really enjoy watching those kinds of shows, and I do believe there is an element of truth to them. Take that as you will. When I found out that she was putting out a memoir, I was excited to listen to it. I gave this 3 stars. I think it might have been a 4-star for me, but the audio experience was a little bit off-putting for me, because normally when I listen to a memoir, I really want to hear the author read their memoir. It's why I choose to listen to most memoirs instead of purchasing them as books. But she did not read the majority of this one herself, although she does break in when she thinks that things are, very important. So I gave this 4 stars, and then as I was preparing this video, I knocked it down 1 star to 3 stars. And again, that's okay. The reason I did that is because, once again, some of the things that I thought I would be pondering for a really long time, I never thought about again. So yeah, I do think that it's a solid 3-star read. I don't own this, so there's no unhaul or keep question, but the 3 descriptors that I have given it are memoir, conversational, and revealing. If you want to know more, of course, Goodreads, Instagram. The next book that I have for you that is a 3-star read, I am reading for my year-long trek through Barsetshire with a group of people on Instagram. This is the first book in the Barsetshire Chronicles series, and it is called The Warden. This was not my fave. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. I really enjoyed it. I really, really, really enjoyed it until the ending. And then the ending, I just feel like, was one of the biggest letdowns of my reading life. I did give it 3 stars though, because I enjoyed so much of it. And I'm hopeful that the next book in the series will be a little less depressing in the end. But the 3 descriptors that I have given it are realistic, humorous, and awful ending. This is a keeper at this time. The end of the year, I'll reassess the entire series, because if I don't love the series as a whole, I will probably unhaul the series as a whole. Until I have read all 6 books though, I will keep them all. The next book I have for you as a 3-star read was actually an ARC that was sent to me by Celadon Books. Thank you, Celadon, for sending me this book and the next one that I will be showing. This is a 3-star read for me. It was a little bit confusing emotionally. So the 3 words that I have for it are depressing, inspiring, and readable. The tone was just a little bit strange from time to time. Something that you thought should be communicated with an expression of joy would be communicated with kind of a depressed sort of feeling. I don't know. I couldn't tell what I was supposed to feel sometimes. It was very unclear and confusing. The story, however, is incredible. Definitely, if I'm ever in Maine, I will want to visit the restaurant that this author starts. If you want to know more about this book, again, Goodreads, Instagram, and I predict that this book is going to do very well. It just, for me, it was just a little bit, I don't know, ambiguous in tone. I don't know. It just felt off. So 3 stars, and I'm unhauling this. Then I also received the Genome Odyssey from Celadon Books. This also received 3 stars from me. This is not the kind of subject matter that I am super familiar with or even interested in. I don't know that I ever would have picked this book up if it hadn't been sent to me. I am not sad that I read it. I do think that at times it is incredibly dense, and therefore for somebody who doesn't really have much background knowledge in the study of the human genome. There was a lot of catching up to do. There were whole sections that I had to read and reread just so that I could understand why something was so harrowing. This author does try to balance all of that dense information and knowledge with these amazing human interest stories of how these things are applicable in real life and the good that is coming from this. The 3 descriptors that I have given it are scientific, hero's journey, and important work. I think this book will also do very well, and if you are interested in the human genome, you will definitely want to pick this up when it comes out. For me, it was a 3-star read, and I probably won't ever read it again, so it is an unhaul. And my last 3-star read is My Friend Anna by Rachel Deloche Williams. This was an incredible read. I did only give it 3 stars because I think what really feels incredible to me is the true story of it, that it's true. So the 3 descriptors that I've given it are fascinating, anxiety-causing, and articulate. This author is a very, very good writer. I know that there are a lot of people who are big supporters of Anna, and they would like to discredit Rachel Williams, but I think that she's so careful and she is so documented, and this story is so bonkers. I recommend it for people who enjoy reading about true crime. There are no deaths in this true crime, so if you are a fearful person but enjoy true crime, this might be the thing for you. The 3 words that I've said, again, are fascinating, anxiety-causing, and articulate. Anxiety-causing because I can see where Rachel's going wrong as she does. She uses hindsight as the story is unfolding, and I just feel so anxious for her throughout the entire book. Yeah, and I knew how it ended. Like, I know the real story, so it's not like I didn't even know how it would end, and I still felt incredibly anxious while reading this book. This is an unhaul for me, but not because I don't think it's a great book. I just don't think I'll ever read it again. I will be recommending it to friends, though, and I'll actually probably unhaul this to a friend. And now the next 3 are my last 3. I own 2 of them, and one was a library book. First, a 2-star. That's Olivia Twist. I had this on my shelf. It was not on my original TBR, but I pulled it off to read because I had just finished Oliver Twist and I wanted more. This is an interesting take on Oliver Twist. It asks the question, what if Oliver had been born a girl? If you want to know my whole spiel about it, again, Goodreads or Instagram will tell you more. The 3 descriptors that I've given it are great premise, fast-paced, underdeveloped. It's so fast-paced sometimes that I was completely lost. Yeah. Not great writing, not great development, great idea, just really poor execution, I think. I gave it 2 stars. I'm going to unhaul it. I'm sure somebody will appreciate it more than I did. Then I have this one, which is a library book, which I will put a picture of right here. This is Bunny by Mona Awad. I would like to direct you to Goodreads and Instagram where I have given an in-depth review of this one, but I simply said something like, what did I just read? I think that's the entire review. And I still feel that way. So this was a 1-star read for me, and the 3 descriptors that I have given it are confusing, bizarre, and pointless. I understand that it's a horror. I understand the kind of social commentary it might be giving about sexuality and the MFA program, but it does not succeed in doing that for me, and there is so much superfluous weirdness in this book that just has absolutely no purpose other than to be superfluous and weird. I feel like I still feel like I have no idea what I read or why I read it. I will say that it was entertaining in the kind of way that like people can't look away from a car accident kind of entertaining. I listened to the entire thing, but I also listened to the entire thing because I kept thinking, this is going somewhere. That's what it is. There was this unstated promise that this is going somewhere. And when I get there, the payoff is going to be huge because this is such a weird ride. There was no payoff. It wasn't going anywhere. It felt like a betrayal. So for those reasons, I've given it a 1 star, and I'm glad that I don't have to unhaul it because it was a library book. My last one, if you really want to know how I feel about it, go to Goodreads, go to Instagram, and I also have an entire video about it. So that would be, of course, The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. I am unhauling this. My 3 descriptors for it are an affront to Charlotte Bronte, degrading to Charlotte Bronte, misrepresentation of Jane Eyre on all levels. And then I also want to mention, because it's been bugging me, I didn't mention it in my reviews or in my video about the day that I read this book, but it's really not left me. And I was like, I didn't mention it because I was like, I'm so angry at this book and I don't want to be petty. She actually takes quotes from Wuthering Heights, which is by Emily Bronte, and is an entirely different book, and incorporates them into the mouths of her rendition of Rochester and Jane. And interestingly enough, that is the thing that has lasted with me, that is this like burning fire of hatred for this book. I'm not going to say anything more. Again, I have said enough. If you want to know how I feel about this book, I've got a video, and I have very strongly worded Instagram and Goodreads reviews. That's it. I think I gave it -5 stars. It will be unhauled. I didn't have a single DNF this month. That's awesome. I got 3 amazing 5-star books. That's awesome. And I'm unhauling a nice chunk of books as well. I think I'm unhauling 5 or 6. So yay me. January was a great reading month, and February is gonna be even better. Let me know how you feel about any of these books. Let me know if you agree or disagree about my absolute and utter hatred of this book. Let me know if you've read any of these, and yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.